Watchers? Oh shit! I forgot to name it. Alright. Quick fix. Quick fix. Quick fix. Alright. So, we're gonna go ahead and continue the case that is known as the Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. January, SS Buria, first class cabin passageway. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. Imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us as to say, don't even think about it. Wait a minute. Where is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where'd he go? Oh yes! He's completely disappeared! That. Away as quietly as the wind. Not before ensuring these are securely back on my wrists. Okay, well, talk to the dude. Really wish we had a chance to look around in Miss Pavlova's cabin. Oh, it's beef stroganoff. What? Why you look like that? You want something? Maybe you want me to throw you out again, hmm? Oh, no, definitely not that. Next time I have to throw you out, I show you where lobsters spend winter, understand? Understood? Yo, Chewie was first. Congrats. How's the Lies of P one going? Actually, I can just check. Let's see. Did you, you just died, so I'm assuming you still haven't beaten the guy. You got it, dude. You got it. I believe. Maybe we should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face. Think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhodo-san? Can I go here now? That door leads to the second class area. Locked. Can't open it. No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. Oh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. There really is no. Oh. That book on top of the table. The book on top of the table there is really huge. The pen with it too. Yes, I'm sure that's the ship's log. Can we have a little look through it? The writing's so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. Expect a rough and ready sailor to have such a beautiful handwriting. Look here. Last night's log is mostly blank. That means there was nothing to report. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin, it's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry? Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. And you know, you know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. Anyway, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga has managed to uncover any clue. Guess we should probably find him and ask. I forgot that guy was in here. Master of Disguise. straight out. I like this a little. So far I like this method of transportation better than the other one. Better than like the classic one. Just tells you where you can go. 9th January is SS Buria, first class cabin number 1. Looks like they're still investigating here. Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. You mean unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Odo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to... He's going to talk to the captain about it? Said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. I have some... No. Dude, he got beat up! Ah, you're back. Inspector, what happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Man hit us with the Man hit us with the tis but a flesh wound. Maybe by a bear, maybe? When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fist then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash. He must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing really. Like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, I now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh? I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think he said his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think he was German though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes then? I can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it. This guy's such a ham. What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please! What self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't... Oh, damn it. A self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel. I think I said him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Definitely. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruit? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed. Ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just trying to keep watch here, trying to not take my eyes off the job. Oh? There's one thing. I do have a small piece of new information. Oh, what? Yes, please do tell us. Inspector, please. Now, what's the new information? What is this new information you have, Inspector? This is... The Buria medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report? Kazuma-sama's... So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae was written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There's no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in the system at all. Well, what was the weapon used then? Nothing has been found yet, but the fact that there is no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. Body's nerves run through... Fine. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. Strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. Here's a possibility. The obvious rule would be life. Or Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. It might be useful. You're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to letting you leaving the cabin in the first place, would I? This guy's the homie. This guy's the real homie. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here? Was he? Yes. Seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have been bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now that you mention it. One thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish! Was all he said. Polish. What he meant. It was when he was over there by the piece of broken glass, do you see? Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark. Do you think? Ah, yes, that must be it. How could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? Shoe polish. That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. No idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-san was wearing leather shoes with a dark tan hue. Dark tan? A sort of dark brownish red then? Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh, does that mean mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they were scruffed on the floor? Alright. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my neck. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asugi. It was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. We were his friends. Truth is, I seem to have had a heavy hand ever since I woke this. Heavy head? My head's still throbbing too. Alright, let's take a look at this. Time of death somewhere between 1 AM and 2 and a little past 2. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in an instant death. Instant death, but he wrote something. All right, I'll just take that. Pocket that bit of information for the later. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. No obvious external injuries or. Yes. Okay, think worth examining still. There's a couple things, but I kind of examined these earlier. No. No? No. It's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilled on the floor. They spelled the Russian word for wardrobe. Does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo. Keeping it. To be truly unambiguous, you would just have to spell out my name, wouldn't you? Well, either way, one fact remains. Hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last word in Russian. Begs the question of who did write it. where Cosmo spent his final moments writing his diary. 1:20 a.m. I can hear a faint whistle sound. 1:35 a.m. Looks to be what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. What is writing here on this? Almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words. I'm sure of it. We'll have to solve the we have to solve this mystery, Naruhodo-san. We will. This is the ventilator. So this ventilator joins Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes, that's right. A few minutes ago, before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from this speckled band, as he describes it. Only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it. She seems as baffled as we are. Yes, I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. Or would say the same thing about me, but something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. You! Where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just went to the next door cabin to investigate. Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, Demon Hosonaga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later I will roll him into ball and throw him into cold room. He's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble in our corner. He's really gone out of his way to help us back there, hasn't he? Well, when we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san. All the books provided to the passengers occupying this cabin are neatly arranged on a shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around. Remember? Yes, and you tidied them up, didn't you? You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. These are the rules of passage to travel aboard the SS Buria. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. By bringing her pet aboard, Miss Pavlova had broken the rules. Called it her friend, did he? Yes, although we don't know what form this friend takes as yet. Certain that whatever it is, had the traveling case in her cabin. Friend. There's more to this than it seems, I think. Thomas? Can I move to? Move back here. 9th January, SS Buria, first class cabin passageway. Bam. Ah. Look, Naruhodo-san. Demon Stroganoff is gone. Wrong enough? The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us. Oh no. All these Russian names are impossible to remember. Tra-la-la. Hear that? Sounds like someone singing. Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay. I did the great detective way. Caroling. I know who that lark-like voice is. Well, never mind that now. It's a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let us get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate. Definitely. Before that stringy nut crewman comes back. It's Stroganoff, not stringy nut. I just want to see. Can I go there from here? Yes, I can. Oh, dude, that's beautiful. Pavlova isn't back yet. Son. Oh, where's she gone? She went straight for the clothes! Hey, what are you doing? Those are private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can. Suppose you're right. Kazuma's sake. You just take that book. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? Can't be long now until we've arrived at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san. By ourselves if we have to. Yes, we will. Alright, well, let's look through the obvious. Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open. Completely empty inside. According to Great Detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. That's the friend that she had to keep. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Buria. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. More to the point, where is it now? Oh, I know. I admit I was mashing. I was mashing a bit. I admit it. Feels like more books than one down in my cabin. Books have toppled over. All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one of them. Do you think that's the god of the sea, perhaps? Toppled over too. Exactly the same as the bookcase next door in Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. I don't know. Should she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. Must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them over in a fit of rage. Not everything bad happens on this ship because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again. I'll set them all straight again in here too. I don't like seeing things in disarray. Okay, well, what else can we look at? No, I can't. Let's look at the wardrobe. Naruhodo-san, are you there? Sorry, I'm right here. Yes. Why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Oh my God! You just believe me. I don't have it. I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see. You know. He's not gonna let us live past this. Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. Full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we'd find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in here. But no such luck. The rules of the ship? Ah yes, they're displayed in this cabin too. Look, the SS Buria's rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean. I wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. Probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. I just hope Seaman Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it overboard. Oh, yes, so do I. There are just a few books on the desk, nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of book she likes to read. Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading. Books written in Russian. Yeah, that was where that's the only place that could have gone. Thanks. I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that. I wonder what the little saucer is doing on the floor. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's been dropped, more like it's been put there deliberately. Ah, you don't think? Do you think there could be a leak on the roof just above here? What? A leak? Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there is a little leak on the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship's going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. Really trying to persuade herself this, isn't she? Now that's for a pet. So it seems the ski pond is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are very thirsty people. Or, if Miss Pavlova only came to this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet? I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're extremely. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san? Anything else? Oh, this trash can. I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. We have a little look to see what's been thrown away. Naruhodo-san, it's poor etiquette to go stifling through someone's rubbish, you know. Eyes, looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no other choice. Oh, we didn't even let her finish the thought, huh? Hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. So this ventilator connects to Cosmo's cabin next door. Yes, what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator. Ah, maybe. So it's that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and take alarm? Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas leak. That's a possibility. Anyway, last night Cosmo wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. One of these next to the bed in Cosmo's cabin too. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. Barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug too. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. Door. Cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door. The bolt's drawn across. There's no way anyone can enter the cabin from outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? Still, slide across on its own. No, the door was made of metal, so there's no chance of tricky using magnets to unbolt it from the outside. It seals it perfectly too, to stop any water from coming in. But you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the door either. I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. Anything in here I haven't investigated yet? I think I got everything. Yeah. Okay, I think there's something. Or in here. have to be. I bet it's something obvious too. Or I guess it's you know what? I I think that's something I forgot to examine. Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes, look. Oh, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you? Seems to be stealing a look from at something. He sings to himself. Ra la la, lira lira lay. I did it the great detective way. Finally beat him. Ooh, dude, Chewie, congrats. Dude, I knew you could do it. Still singing. You think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply or he's simply in extremely high spirits. Yes, there were times I'm sure you knew the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky her luck was about. Excuse me? I did all and I stood tall. I did it the great detective. Mr. Sholmes! Ah, what is it? You want to fight? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I just thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is a good time to say as any. I very nearly dropped you on the floor with one of my famous right hooks. All right, I get the picture. Now, could you put those fists away? Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log as penned by the Stockby-built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh yes, the ship's log. Did you find anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Means that there was nothing to report. Nothing of note happened, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Wherever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stands sentry in the first-class cab passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report? Precisely, put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean? Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night, which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now. But we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is. I see. That makes Sholmes brilliance. Oh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to have been afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for something more. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. Himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought. Well, I feel the same. Right? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had some sort of headache. Sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? The Cosmos? I think we're supposed to be caught now. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Ah, what's that? I don't even know if I have to act that. But the engines immediately, vessel sighted at a quarter-mile forward. Full stop, hard to starboard, all hands, brace for impact. Fuck! We gonna crash? What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? Oh wait, the ship's turning. I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on to me! Whoa! Susato-san, are you okay? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san. Like we avoided a collision. I think. Yeah, the ship has come to stop. Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Hello? Is anyone there? Shout if you need assistance! Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. Are you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door, quickly! What? The bolt? Look at that, the door's bolted. Do that, Susato-san? Oh, I didn't touch it. Oh, that's strange. How did... And look at all the books. Just like they were before again. Ah, we're putting it together. The ship did one of those the night of the murder. Naruhodo-san, you going to open the door and let the inspector in? Better tidy this book up first. No, don't tidy it up. Our violent emergency stop has solved one mystery at least in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. And that was a to be continued. I guess we can do another part. It's been crap, but that was a pretty short. 9th January, SS Buria. Miss Pavlova's cabin. Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. San took a deep breath and gently slid back the bolt. You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? Ah, you both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we were fine, thank you. What on earth happened? Heard something about when we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report though. Oh, how'd that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. The person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming, crew are running everywhere. First class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Triggered an alarm? Does that mean someone pressed that button outside? Ah! You wicked intruder dressed all in black! You are the devil! Sorry, me? I must have been called many things before, but devil is a first. You opened my traveling case! How could you? What? No! We didn't touch it! That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector! Yes? Arrest this man! I know he did it! He's a criminal! It's not enough that he has killed a man? Da! And he was a stowaway as well! If Vixen promised not to steal chicken, do you believe? How did she know I killed a man? Take him away! He's a trespasser as well as everything else! How do you know I killed a man? I didn't kill a man, but how do you know I killed a man? Going away, trespassing, killing, she's right, you are the devil! Doesn't look good, does it? There is cell below, throw him in! Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, cell? Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there nothing you can do? It's a Russian vessel. I have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. Terrible. It's a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately! Got yourself in a difficult situation here. Entering this cabin uninvited, I mean. Sorry, I was just so desperate to find a clue. I'm afraid there's really nothing more I can do to help you. If I push my luck any further, a punch to the face will be the least of my worries. I'm really sorry. I have to take responsibility for giving you the freedom to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin. Now that this has happened, I have to report to the captain at once. Help here. I need a savior to come rescue me from this crisis. Please give me a little more time. I do nothing for you except show you the way to the ship's prison cell. Thanks, but no thanks. But I'm innocent. I didn't kill anyone. In trespassing and stowing away? Well, you know, sometimes life can lead you down some unusual avenues. Well, enough. You are guilty. Ship's cell is only place fit for you. Come on, there has to be someone, some savior to rescue me from this crisis. Pavlova, can I get out? Sorry that we snuck in here without your permission, but get out now. Oh, she spoke in Russian. Need an investigator here to help understand what happened to. And Russian words. No use, she's no good. She's not going to listen. I need to find someone who will. Wait. There's my savior! What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes! Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like in one's head. Have I not told you before that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't more tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no. Well, how are you hanging from the hook then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited looking hook on the wall. So full of brag and bounce. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. Ah, you again! The great detective! Ah, Inspector, I confess, I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, You might try looking at me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time. What is to report? Speak! Urgent report from a great detective can mean nothing but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night here on this vessel, the steamship Buria, has been solved! By me, naturally. What? Really? Yes, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired, great deduction to this case. Here's the Great Ace Attorney Chronicle. Ah, you have solved it? Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing Student Boy this morning, when we found criminal in wardrobe. It is the stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it! Trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. As everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must have been someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it was called a locked room mystery in detective stories. Da, locked room! That is point! The room is locked. Well, I can't deny that. No way the bolt could have drawn across from outside the cabin. You are all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all! Yeah, because they did the emergency stop thing. Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, it gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator, man! The ventilator? Gahahaha! You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole. That's because your arms are as thick as a tree trunk. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible. Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder acting in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 35 a.m. Looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Precisely, my dear madam. What does it mean? What is this speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Oh, look at him box! Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There is a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I'm about to expose for you all will seem to shock you to your cores. Behold! Yeah! Ah! What the? It was a snake all along! Allow me to introduce you all to the band! The speckled band! A snake? Indubitably. Mr. Sholmes? Just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Hmm? Yes, you're right. I think in this case, you'd have to call it... Stripe band, wouldn't you? He both seen and observed, what with distinction. However, do not think that this is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall. Oh my goodness, really? Oh my, I love this guy. He's just talking out of his ass. Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? How exactly? I think perhaps it's time I explained the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? Sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one, last night your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. Ah! And number two, that same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No. Aaron, why is a bowl of rice again? Almost supposed to be right. He's hit the nail on the head. A new woman's friend killed Mr. Asagi? He can't talk. It looks like he can't speak with the snake crawled around his head. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs that long friend in your you wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Intruder's identity. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. The whole thing has nothing to do with me. You cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. Aching heart smarts with pain. And it is that very pain that evidences your inexorable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole you into the victim's cabin in that precious night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without a doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. And yet, the fact leaves us with a quandary. The victim's written observations that night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, specimens marking do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we give to the... Can we give? Pray? What was it that fell upon the victim's eyes that night? Dude, this is getting hard to read. No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal. That can only be the snake's sloughed skin. Evidently, after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. No? I don't know what you're talking about. Last night, through the ventilator, visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to be a young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rather rare breed of snake, whose markings change each time it sloughs its skin. A snake so dreadful, we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. Beloved speckled snake. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been appraised, it would appear that there is no visible sign of injury. Ah. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. almost but not quite imperishable puncture wounds left by the victim's left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense. There's no point in feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glances betray the hiding place of your choice. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't... It's telling me that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was the signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train the serpent friend. To train? Indeed. You put the serpent through the ventilator and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim had appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Do you deny the snake has undergone such training? It's not true. Having slid it through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to slink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. Death by a venomous snakebite. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. There are a lot of flaws in that account. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, we will observe a saucer of milk. The promised food is the key to training any creature. Incredible! You solved the mystery. Amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to your name. I can see now why Herlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it is nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Can I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes? But of course, what is on your mind? Just about your deductions before. Some things didn't quite make sense to me. I welcome questions as to my methods, and will answer both loudly and proudly. Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madam. And reptiles, don't drink milk. Ah, really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds. Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears. Ah. Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal to a snake by whistling. But madam, what about the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard that snakes dance to the sound of the flute? I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears? These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless! Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes. There's one other thing. You have more? Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins. Then you should try harder! Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator in the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine a snake could have had a part in this. Oh, dude, you just hurt him. You just hurt him to his core. And the rest of us believed him. I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Holmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be. I had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. That's what I was waiting for. Mr. Naruhodo! Yes, right. So cast your eyes down to your wrists again. What? Oh, I've been freed! Freed to do my pointing and theatrical theatrical movements. You've done it again! Your handcuffs are gone! Where'd they go? Fear not. I shall see that they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Alright, let's change this conclusion. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. You cannot deceive yourself. Yes. When you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. He does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death was weighing heavily in her mind. You're not sure, Mr. Has read her correctly. Is that correct? Is that right? Maybe there's an other way to interpret her expression. Go and really look closely at Miss Pavlova. All right, there, dude. There's a claw scratch. Oh, Naruhodo-san, look! It looks like a very painful wound, like a scratch made from some kind of small animal. Fairly recent too. Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around. Yo! Did we come in from the raid? What up, Leoval? How's it? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the raid. How was Liza P, dude? I hear you beat the boss, dude. Hype. I beat my demon. Yeah, congrats, man. Yeah, dude. Thanks for the raid, man. Really appreciate it. You just caught me reading. I'm correcting some deductions right here. Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here. Yes! Yes! Yes, when you recall those horrid events, the claw scratch marks were... Wait, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, a simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night? Ah! When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. Did you still remember that isn't Solomon reading preposterous? It's crazy, right? It's crazy. I'm reading. I'm doing the reading. And it is that very pain that evidences your inexorable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boasted this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without a doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. Seems like the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except Snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet or on which claws might grow. Well then, that snake isn't her pet. What is? What's the true identity of this pet of hers? We should follow her gaze, Naruto. That's where we'll find the answer. Now, what's she looking at? What is she looking at, huh? Oh, this picture. It is her cat. Oh, look at that cat! Look at that cat! Oh, look at the photograph in this frame. Must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true, but personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we better take a closer look at this. Look at that little kitty! Look at that little kitty. The little cat Miss Pavlova is cuddling here. Oh, what a cute little kitten! Yo, look at dude, that what an emote, dude. It could vie with you, couldn't it, Naruto-san? For the blackest outfit. A black kitten. From the look of this picture, at least, Pavlova seems very attached to it.
Yes.
Without a doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. Oh no. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Ah! Darka was my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, the fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations of the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit the description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. This has nothing. I have nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's loud skin. Okay, no, that's not it. Did you see that? Just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. She just left it in her pocket. Who would have ever known? Oh yes, ploys like that are Mr. Shon's specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. I thought deduction's a specialty. Maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Anyway, I find it hard to believe that there's a skin that's the skin of a snake. What is Miss Pavlova hiding in her bag? What is this? Well, speckled. Band, but what is? Soft and fluffy, a long piece of... It looks like it has a handle at one end. I think it may be a cat's toy. It's sort of common in the West apparently. How's this a toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. Only need to wave it in front of them and then they pounce to catch it. That sounds positively adorable. A cat's toy. And now that we know it's a cat's toy,
yes!
Fucking yes! Yes! The thing you're trying but failing to conceal is, a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. Ah! And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can be only one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared into the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Ah. In summary, the nature of this friend of Mrs. Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. Ah! We got him. A truly troublesome feline, young Darka proved to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. We add a new piece of evidence found. It was after I gave her food last night that when this happened. Scratched the back of my hand and ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka, she's so naughty. A beloved kitten. We still don't know where the snake came from. Like, no idea where the snake came from. Moving on, we've come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been appraised, it would appear that there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. What Mr. Sholmes says is true. There are no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma-sama's body. Right. But Mr. Sholmes still seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. Give him the information he's missing now.
Yes!
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah, yes, I knew it was one or the other. Heck was. Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Demon Stroganov isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury's out anyway. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove that the cause of death conclusively. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though. If Darka isn't silently creeping about Kazuma and deal below. I suppose it's possible he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Oh yes, a bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what had happened? This.
Yes!
Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark is prominently visible next to the victim's body is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish. Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. An undeniable ingredients to shoe polish. Is this such type of music considering someone died? Yeah, dude, it's detective music. We're catching the criminal, I think we're catching the victim. And the color of the polish is a perfect match for the color of Mr. Asugi's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what had happened. For some reason, Mr. Asugi must have caught his foot on at that point on the floor and tripped. Please no. And by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against against some immovable object as he fell on the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant, he lost his life. No! We have a murdering cat aboard. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene of crime where Mr. Asugi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. I don't believe it. Kazuma-san was merely tipped over and now he's no more? That can't be true. I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that something happened. But if this part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction is right, Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere is in the direction she just cast her eyes. I wonder. Have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Tiara, I assume? The tiara is the only other thing I can point at.
Yes!
Oh, it wasn't the tiara. Fuck. You tried to hide the evidence in plain sight, didn't you? This tiara! Oh, don't give me that wide-eyed, incredulous stare. I know the truth. That 20,000 rubles is enough to make anyone lose their head. What spectacularly contrived logic led you to this mindless conclusion? Oh, well, it's supposed to be a logic and reasoning spectacular, so I thought I'd contribute to the show. This is my show, Mr. Naruhodo. Now kindly perform any particular experiments at your own stage. Sorry. It wasn't the tiara. Okay. Oh wait, I still can't bring my. Oh wait, no. Yeah, no. We read through this. But we cannot skip it, so we just gotta keep marking, keep doing this. I guess I can examine these. Where Miss Pavlova hit her friend. That's right, it wasn't a snake after all. No, it was that little kitten she calls Darko. Not that it's anywhere to be seen now. Seems to have let itself out of the cage and gone exploring. I expect it's wrapped itself around someone's head and somewhere and trying to make a new friend. Either that or it's scratching their head. The point is, where has it gone to? Somebody appears to have dropped 20,000 rubles here. It hasn't been dropped, Naruhodo. It's been placed. Starting to sound like Mr. Holmes. Stop trying to sound like the great detective. Ah. This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first class items happened. Pavlova only started occupying the cabin late last night. There's not much rubbish in. Oh, what's that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yes, it is. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you.
Yes!
That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Ah! Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object. It would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Yeah, trash can! Yes, trash can! Exactly right, Leoval. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor of in Mr. Asugi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider the... Wait, what did he say? Oh, glad there's a... So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of the glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in a waste paper basket in your cabin? Yeah! You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know. I don't know. In that hushed Russian accent of yours? I won't save... That I don't know in that hushed Russian accent of yours. Won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. Evidence linking Miss Pavlova to the little glass bell, that would be... Picture of her and her cat. If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Your absent feline friend Darka. Couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. We got him. We still haven't solved the writing in the writing next to him though. The cat committed a murder? I think he tripped on the cat and died. I think that's what they're trying to get at. But yes, the cat committed murder. Kill the cat. Why didn't you tell us? Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was well after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, he scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. It was so fast, she disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. That's how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it. Yes, and I had read the rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next to the cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was in there, you must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it was safe to lure the kitten back again by dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator into the adjoining cabin. Darka loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. With a faint whistling sound Kazuma heard in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats can have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. Then... Oh no! I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang! Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Kazuma was... The appearance of the brown marks on the floor. It seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Buria is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Asagi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten caught under his feet. The combination of unfortunate factors could have easily caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. But Darka is nowhere to be seen. I've forgotten to lock my case. Now she's disappeared again. We have to find the murderer cat. Gracious, the cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself, at least. When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the next cabin had been in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right. Where is it? Snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova. If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it, and where did it come from? What on earth is a dangerous creature doing aboard the ship? Oh, it's your snake. Oh, I didn't say? Snake is my friend. His name is Piroshko. Yeah, his name is Piroshko. Hmm? What? What? That snake belongs to you? He escaped from cage when the emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted aboard. Ha! We are at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long without close friend, without someone who understands? Can't you find someone a little more human? Who understands you better? But my dear burly fellow, our gargantuan venomous snake? Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Hmm? Piroshko does not have venom. He is harmless, very long but very gentle. He is adorable like Granny. It's venomless? Yes, now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood. But once I feed him, he will see big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Ha! Like they say they milk chickens? Ridiculous! Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Piroshko eats mouses. Big fat round mouses. Ah, oh, so that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for? Of course! How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? Things less top of the food chain, like look in their eyes right now. Uses to drink milk, it can't hear a whistle, and it can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so inept land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Piroshko has nothing to do with this incident. That's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. No, cannot believe we ended with it. He died by tripping. Miss Pavlova? I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in. I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. You're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with and there is no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But what are you talking about, Miss Mikotoba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events. An accident. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. Even I can see. That was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Perfectly honest, yes. The discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I can't quite put my finger on it. Confess. I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh? I am only present here for a very specific reason. Some snakes are cute? Oh yeah. Some of them are. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Oh, I'm back. I'm back. Ah! Not again. When do you do that? Especially as they are not on your wrists as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. Where, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours, was he not? Yes. Kazuma was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom even. In that case, let's follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story. I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. Truth about how you really died. How that scene in your cabin really came to be. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? Yes! What should we ponder first? What we should ponder first is the victim who lost his life in the cabin was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident? Or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance. But we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes. It's still an accident. Hold it? Oh, dude, we got to hold it? Wait, let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right here in Cosmo's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruhodo. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. Look at this.
Yes!
The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Asagi's death could have left it. There's no way that Mr. Asagi could have left this message on the floor. That script, it's Russian, isn't it? Yeah, he was in a hurry. Indeed it is. The words written mean wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language, Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It's a simple language. He could have just picked it up very fast. That doesn't seem likely. It's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether you knew Russian or not. Right? What do you mean? Exactly what I said before. I don't know, lady. The lady just making it up. She's Russian, so she just thinks it's easy. There's no way that Mr. Asagi could have left this message on the floor. And the reason for that, why it's clearly explained here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in an instant death. Instant death. Ah! Which means, after the victim fell into the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything, because he was already dead. Not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asagi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there, of what Miss Pavlova told us was true. What? So Suspinosa too then. Putting the message on the floor aside, there's something in this message that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves this is no accident. In other words, take a look. No accident.
Yes!
This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. Well, that's the glass belt the kitten had around its neck. We already know about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So we've already a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic? Unfortunately, there's a very big flaw. A fatal flaw. What? If that's really what happened. And how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin? Oh. Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in the waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh no. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. When Mr. Asugi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt. Ah! Yes, there was someone else present in Mr. Asugi's. You're wasting time. Someone else was there. Duh, of course, we know this. What are you talking about? Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There's no way in or out. Oh, yes. And only other person in the cabin when young student died was you. Yes. It's true. I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. I don't know Russian. There's no way I could have left that message. Nor would have. There's no way you could have left that message. To be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor. In an attempt to incriminate me for the crime even though I had been asleep in there for the entire time. And then, the same person picked up a broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor, for fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Asugi really died. But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half behind was only going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have it cast in any light onto the floor there. Little wonder then that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. You all suspect me, don't you? Oh, it's the other guard. Demon Stroganoff. Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of a strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on this ship, a member of the ship's band. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. Ah, so that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in cabin? But that is not possible. I give my tooth. Well, this all seems most interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective, you should know. Look, truth in eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. No one could go in cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me a killer can walk through locked doors? Yet it's impossible. Oh, he's right. But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around little door latches so they can open and close them from the outside. Red? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find in any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel with not a gap in sight. No threads or needles or magnets could have been used. No, of course not. I thought so too, but Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so... Listen, then how can you shift onto me like that? Though Seaman Stroganov has a valid point, the cabin's doors couldn't have been bolted or shut from the outside. Not necessarily. What? I put it to you that I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see traces of the method that I have in mind having been used before. I don't believe it. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? I believe you know what I mean, don't you? Of course I do, dude. It's the ship making that emergency stop. A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside. One way does spring to mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, and so should you, because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have, so would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Point to the telling signs of the method that was used to slide the cabin door bolt across from the outside. There's right here, Bruce, right here. Wait, what? Oh, okay, it doesn't highlight. Here, bro. Right
Yes!
here. Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things on it have toppled over? That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yes, that's right. A very powerful vessel, after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe, yes, it's what is known as the force of inertia acting on the objects. Is there nothing Susudo-san doesn't know? Or that it isn't in her book at least? Well, whatever it's called, it's the same force that pushed over those books on the tape and bookcase. Oh, dude, thanks, Newton. Dude, Newton knew what was up. Also made something in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. Ah! It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... Hello, is anyone in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. Oh, yes! That's it! When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of ineptia, if you want to call it that. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Asaki was killed, got him, dude. All of the plot threads are coming together now. The SS Buria made another emergency stop? When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Oh yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? Then we came into this cabin. We were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Asaki's cabin. Oh my! Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Buria made an emergency stop? It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh, it is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? It's used to trigger the emergency alarm. Oh yes, of course. There was a notice there, wasn't it? Telling you only to press the button in times of emergency. On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press if to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you? When the button was pressed, two things happened in the instant. In the interest of safety, the emergency alarm rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today. He pushed the emergency button. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed! Bruh! Whatever the occasion, whatever the... I love this guy. Fucking Herlock Sholmes and pushing every button that he sees possible. I relate. Bruh. Yeah, dude. Man just pushed the button to find out what it did. He almost sounds proud of himself. How dare you mess with ship? I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the ship makes an emergency stop, the bolts on cabin doors slides closed. So, what we must now consider. Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Asagi, did the ship make an emergency stop, or did it not? You are idiots! Bunia is a huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop, even in middle of night, there would be chaos everywhere. Guy would break open a glass casing to press the button. Yeah, he would! He totally would. I could see that happening. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support this idea. Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes this theory that some emergency gripped this vessel last night? Let's see. It could just be this.
Yes!
A log. Demon Stroganoff. It's your duty to patrol the first class area of the ship, isn't that right? That is correct. Why? And the ship's log here. This would be where you would record the details of your duties. Oh, it's beef stroganoff? Oh, Leoval, here, let me correct you right now. It's not beef stroganoff, it's Biff Stroganoff. His name is Biff Stroganoff. It's so good! But yeah, it is beef stroganoff. What are you doing with that? That is mine! His parents must not have wanted children. No, they wanted one child just to do that pun. You rather carelessly left it atop a little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it in our care with the mind to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. This is where I put it always. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until the first light of this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log? That is... because nothing happened! But if nothing happened, you would normally write "nothing to report," wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened. Here aboard the SS Buria. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish! If I'm perfectly honest, I find it a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because if something major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That is very true. The emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that someone would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night. Well, no, that's a good point. What of the throbbing? Sorry, what do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. You have all suffered with it. Ah! Oh, yes. I have a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? But just as I suspected. He's right, my head's been throbbing today too. Since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. And the first thing I noticed this morning, throbbing pain in my head. Sleeping pill? Maybe put something a sleeping thing in everyone's dinner. Because I think the only one who didn't have dinner was the guy that died. Because he gave me his dinner. I'd already been dragged out of the wardrobe. And had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why did I wake up when all of that was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo. You boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes. Sorry. Stowaway class. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Oh, well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of that whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of it. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right. He didn't touch it. That relevant? Oh my god, I finally figured it out. Dude, Sholmes is a genius. My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? Yeah, because someone was trying to steal the tiara, which was worth a lot of money. So they put sleeping pills on everyone's food, right? But one person didn't eat, so they had to kill them. I do. No. Really, is that true? The meal prepared for these passengers last night must have been tampered with. Hampered with by the addition of a soporific design to induce have very deep slumber in those who consumed it. Sleeping drug. You mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would know it's the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What? Mr. Sholmes? Well, Seaman? Eh? I'm sorry to say that any more deception on this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have been an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew and the captain himself would be hauled over to the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade. Oh shit. The crew clearly just messed up everyone here. They did! The crew was in on it! Please, no more. I will tell everything. I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes, so when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. And the crewmen can just murder the detectives. Oh, right here. Yeah, oh, you're right, he could. We all agreed to help. Everyone together. She threw everything away. Her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. We could not make all drug. How do you say dissolve? Talk about heavy seasoning. At midnight in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrade on shore with small fishing boat. While all the passengers of the SS Buria slept soundly, thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion that their evening meals had contained. So if that was what happened, only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, the people who disliked chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. That would have made it impossible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Cosmo's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Ah, of course, just like us, the other passengers would have eaten their evening meals of chicken in their cabins. After which, they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite, and accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes! So the overwhelming majority of the passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway. And so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door unlocked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt as a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. You have talked a long time and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present at the scene when the victim lost his life that someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragment of glass that would have revealed the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock the door. All told, a busy night. But I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen for long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes. Do you hear it? The accusatory cry of guilt in the wind? What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear with such calls in your ears. No. You must hear with your eyes, for observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular, to expose the truth. So, Mr. Naruhodo, with your assistance if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow. Just as I said, of these two prevaricators, whatever. Observation? If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that someone tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Asugi's death. What we are looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, let's see what I see. We're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. Got here, what are we? Chunky arm. I can't click on his arm. He has arms like tree trunks, doesn't he? hairy tree trunks. Yes, he certainly has sailor's arms. He was born a man of the sea. And if I'd been awake, I couldn't have done anything about being dragged out of the wardrobe by this man. Naruhodo-san? Are you alright? Could be lost in thought. Oh, sorry. Name those hairy tree trunks. What's that? Have you noticed something significant about Seaman Stroganov's hat? Oh, no, sadly not. I was just thinking that if only we'd found it in Cosmo's cabin, it would be so easy. That's true, a hat dropping the scene would have been very conclusive evidence. Ah, that's the point. I'm sure I saw your university's uniform hat at the scene somewhere. That's not a point. That is not a point, at least not one I'd like you to make. There, I can... On her? Right ear. She has such petite ears among that beautiful hair. Like little pink shells. Oh, what's that? Something attached to her ear. Ah, I expect that's what's called an earring. A little piece of jewelry. Earring? Is it? It's really tiny. Perhaps part of it is missing. Maybe it broke off. So now all that's left is the clasp part that attaches to the ear. If that's the case. I appear to have noticed it broken. Oh, you're right, because the other end has this thing. There's such petite ears among beautiful hair. And pink shells. Oh, what's that? There's something dangling down from her ear. Ah, that's an earring. The crescent moon part looks as though it's made from wood. It's charming, isn't it? They do seem to love adornments like that. Their hair around their necks, on their fingers, even hanging from their ears, it seems. Well, jewelry is beautiful now, huh?
Yes!
Oh, it wasn't the... No. I noticed the dainty jewelry you're wearing in your ears, Miss Pavlova. Were we to find a piece of that earring in Mr. Osty's cabin, it'd be proved beyond a doubt that we were there. Although, we haven't actually found anything yet, so... That deduction was wanting in every way. Yes, I was wanting to hear that. I was wanting you to hear it. I'm quite proud of it. I find myself wanting never to have heard it. I'm quite pained by it, in fact. Oh, sorry. I'll try again. Okay, no, we read this earlier. This is something that's not. Maybe. I can't mess. Wait. Go away. This is something. Dude, I'm actually kind of stuck. Rather tough. Oh, no. Right here. There it is. It took a while.
Yes!
Demon Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on your back of your whole white uniform there. Eh? Ah, yes, I don't know where that dirt comes from. So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain. What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. Very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform. Anything? What made it is clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then. Evidence that proves that what that stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform is... Where is it? No. One second with a picture. This actually isn't one of the picture. I guess it's this.
Yes!
Yes, it's here in this photograph, and the ink it shows is what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink, a rather unusual color of ink, purple. Ah, the penny drops at last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of the exact same color. If the ink has been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform that way, which means you must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilled. Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in dead student's cabin to make it look like a wardrobe man did it. Then I pressed button in Buria to do emergency stop and both cabin doors shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel. If, please. Don't worry, Angel. We do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty, patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like a sheep. If, please, you must help me. I went with her to cabin door number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw student boy on floor. Oh, what happened here? Please, don't tell anyone. My little one, my little furry friend. Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told you.
The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Asogi's cabin. Oh, sorry, wrong voice. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell on the floor. Yes, that is right. After the incident, when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to her, only to find its occupant lying lifeless on it. He said she was worried when she heard the sound of someone falling on the floor. That's when she went to look. Oh, Angel? The door was not locked, so she opened it and looked, and you already know what happened after. There's just one thing. You wouldn't mind? What? When you went to Mr. Asagi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why? I already told you when Nina opened door of student oh damn it. When Nina opened door of student's cabin and looked inside, I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? Ah? Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark, wearing black, but on the floor, not moving. Scared. I believe you. That's finally it now. Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last?
Ah, something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes? This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, do you know? The cause of death was a broken neck, therefore the victim died instantly. In the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area in this photograph that seems to me somewhat unnatural. What do you mean, unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, well... Kazuma tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck. Which part of this photograph seems natural? Broke his neck. Well, let's just do it on his head, right? Let's see what happens.
Yes!
Must be here, surely. Allow me to offer you a piece of advice regarding the pursuit of detection, my dear fellow. When noting a crucial part, it cannot be helpful to keep your eyes open. But they were open. And it can be equally helpful to use them. Sorry, I'll try that. I think it's plain what Mr. Sholmes means by unnatural, isn't it? The word written in a foreign language underneath his fingertip, surely. That particularly crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit. No, I mean to identify another point. Imagine, if you will, losing your footings yourself. Oh. Would you land as the victim has? What of your hands? Oh, I see. He has a fist. You look like the sort of fellow who stumbles with some regularity. This should be an easy task. What did I do? Oh, which part? Oh yeah. So I appreciate them giving me the answer. All right. If he's really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist, almost, you might say. As though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist for a short Wait, what did I say? For a short while ago. And what, pray, did you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes. Show us, please! Why, of course, my dear madam. Why, of course, dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense? This is what I have found. It's the part of her earring. Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. Very pretty. What does it tell us? It tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Mr. Naruhodo. That is the key. What? The truth is now tantalizingly close. How did that crescent moon come to be in Cosmo's clenched fist? This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe. Find the answer with your own eyes. Okay, so I did this one earlier.
Yes!
Miss Pavlova, on your ear there. I see you have a crescent moon as well. Ah! What? And on your other ear. There seems to be a crescent moon missing. The little link holding onto it must have broken, I suppose. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Pavlova, Mr. Asagi must have grasped the crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps moments before falling, before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night, in Mr. Asagi's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell in with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Asagi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it with his clenched fist during his final moments? Angel. No one can protect you now. Please, Mrs. Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma? Whatever. That might have been a Russian word. When I think about it. Or for like or something. When I think about everything that happened yesterday. Too much. Running away the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb into the
Then, I was at last in the cabin and I could relax in this after this horrible long day. Darka, wait! I couldn't believe it when she the ventilator. I tried to call her with a I tried waving her favorite. Nothing worked. Darka would not come back. Bunk? What are you doing? What are you doing at this time of night, Inspector? Oh? I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. The young man from your country. He was very polite, kind. He helped me to find Darka, and promised not to tell anyone. But then, I had my friend in my arm, and I was going to leave the cabin. Just a moment, sorry, but... Oh, yes? I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Ah! Ah, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina? Huh? No! I don't know that name! Heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land far away east know a Russian ballerina? Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. It was the beauty of the beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on the ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment. I have to tell him the truth. I hope he just doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice. So you've run away. Please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. Hold that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but felt like forever. Wait! I shouted, and then... Darka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me... I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. And that's when you fetch him. And that's when you fetch help. Sergeant Stroganov, who was on duty in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out, and a thud on the floor. So I ran to her, standing at cabin door, shaking like a leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff! If they find out, I will be... Please, I have nowhere to go." So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Cosmo's cabin to make it look like I did it. That no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door. Dang. Yes. I went into cabin and I looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. Then I found Stowaway in wardrobe, still sleeping. Right, that's when he found me. Worked out a plan. Lay the blame onto the Stowaway. I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange papers signed. Luckily for me, the only reason Susan started to believe me when I said I was innocent.
I dragged young man's body into a good place and used ink that was spilled on writing on the floor. I wrote Russian word, so that person who found them would look inside wardrobe and find Stowaway. And tell me, what of the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. I see. But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half. Then Angel went back to her cabin, and I finished job by pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. Yes. Accordingly, the SS Buria did indeed come to an emergency halt a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bolt of the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. Still, one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. What? Well, you said you told Kazuma about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. And it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Is that right? Yes? Even if he had pulled the bell and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first. It made me so scared. Said first? What are you doing here at this time, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was just a friend of mine. Then an inspector was his friend. Ah, yes, meaning me, who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought if police knew about me, they would arrest me. Before he could pull the bell cord, Can I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It's just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Asagi really going to pull the bell cord? No, he was gonna free me! I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain. But he was a man of his word. He told you he would give you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, and the day's work is not yet done, it seems.
There's one more deduction to make. What, another deduction? Yes, what action was the victim really about to take at the moment? Can we determine whether the young man's gaze Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed? First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy. I remember every detail of the room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe. Still, that cabin had been my home for this entire voyage. So this is how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama. Yes, exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes! There's one thing I've learned today. Is that simple gaze can reveal all manners of truth. Not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze of where it lands. So, when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what was exactly Kazuma looking at? He was obviously looking at the wardrobe for me.
Take that!
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it would have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however, what's directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe. The wardrobe? And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly. Ah! Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asagi's exact words last night? Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. Another opinion? Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Asagi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. See if, between them, they might be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh, no. Sadly, can't know the truth for certain. Too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asagi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently. You had. Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did. That will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry. What have I done? And so, at long last, mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Buria finally laid to rest. It wasn't. Oh my! That's how it ended. I like this. Okay, this whole case, no courtroom. It's interesting. First class passageway. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now then? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? What, the Russians try to retake her? Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort it all out. Sholmes can do that? So she won't be going back to Russia then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I thought she would be able to. Ran away. Now she's in exile for life. See, I'm sorry. Seaman Stroganoff? I wanted to help our Angel, no matter what, but I didn't think about you, about how you lost your good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Cosmo's death feels like such a waste, but... well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Ah. Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. You're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul and arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes, I did stow away after all. Didn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it even's begun. I think that only days ago, Cosmo and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. Seems like a distant memory now. Oh? That? Did someone weeping? Oh yeah, no, she's sad. Oh yeah, she's sad. Naruhodo-san? Naruhodo-san, I didn't know you had returned. Oh, well, I haven't been back back long. Rector Hosonaga just told me that I should pack, you know, ready to leave on the ship tomorrow after all. Still, I can't believe it happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. Kusuro-san. He had such grand ideas for his visit to Great Britain, so many dreams. Now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. It was just an accident. A silly series of mishaps. Too much, Naruhodo-san. Just too much. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Rector, my duty was to see Asuki-san safely to Great Britain, but I failed. It caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. I'm free again now, at least. Huh? Surprise, Mr. Naruhodo. What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? But I decided to restore them for old time's sake, shall we say. You are a stowaway after all. He thinks this is funny? I appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you. Bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. And although it's a little late, I offer my sincere condolences. The loss of your companion is truly hardened. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. Okay, that won't be possible. I'll be disembarking in our next port, Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was a stowaway. The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant. Was to be? In light of Mr. Asaki's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Don't care for me, but... Or Susato-san. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications. You know of no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. Oh, but anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. That's me! Yes. Hello? Yes? You think perhaps I might be able to do it? Ah! But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh? Unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could... But as I said, there's still more than a month before we reach English shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which to study. To learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain. Naruhodo, that's ridiculous! Are you seriously just suggesting anyone could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day. Would you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? Kazuma said there was something he had to do in Great Britain, that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Kiddo? Oh, it's the first time she smiled. I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, this is madness, yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating? Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character, no? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. By contending with the passing of his close companion and despite the accusations of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. Think of a clever way to word my reports at the Department of Justice. Inspector. After all, I did just make a promise, Dan. but I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings. Oh, thank you, Inspector. Well, excuse me. I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next and how to best make my report. You're really prepared to attempt this, Naruhodo? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, how would you consider teaching me what I need to know about being a lawyer? Be delightful. I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant after all. Thank you. And Naruhodo, I'd like you to take charge of this. What? Me? Are you sure? Sure, it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. His name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in the Asugi clan for generations. Well, I accept. I'll treasure it, always. So then, Kusugo. It seems we'll be working together for some time yet. Some time to come yet. Okay. It will be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. Working together for some time to come yet. The next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need. But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you. What is it now? Please throw me onto the ground 3 times. What? I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. No matter how upset I was feeling. Completely unforgivable behavior. Oh no, you were in shock. You just found me about stealing a board. No, I will not make you make any. Wait. You saw me stealing a board and the cabin door was locked from the inside. No, I will not let you make any excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should have never thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times. That number just keeps creeping up, huh? Please, you must. Take a hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it. No. I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. I observed your throwing technique several times with my great interest. I confess, I was most impressed. Did you see that? I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling. Oh, well, in a way. Not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujitsu technique. Apparently it's called the Suicidal Takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I'm a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I'm a somewhat accomplished boxer. There he goes, dancing around again. I wonder if you'll be so kind as to instruct me the technique of your arresting throw. Yes, I'd be honored. And let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam. Oh, of course. Oh, she's gonna throw me again, isn't she? Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry. Hiya! As you can see, you throw from the abdomen. Oh yes, arresting indeed. And that is what is why you term the Suicidal Takedown, is it? Actually, no. That was the Suicidal Squash. As you can see, screen is crazy blurry. Yeah, it is. What up, Kona? In my groggy state of consciousness, seen from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickering into my mind. Yo, is the next one a flashback? Haruma. Oh, no, it's not a flashback. I'm just looking at the sword. That's right. A prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asugi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely. Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted with my katana. Karma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels the wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling on that subject. There's something very important that I have to do in Britain. I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. That important thing he had to do. I still don't know what that was. I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. Great Britain's capital, London. Look at that. End. Just like that. Crash course candidate. Let's go. Let's save, dude. Let's save. We out of here, man. We out of here. Prove ourselves innocent twice. Finn. For real. For real, Kona. For real. We're gonna go ahead and call it a stream here. I'm gonna go ahead and raid Solomon, who's playing Tetrio right now. Which, honestly, I find rather surprising because he should be practicing for TEC, playing the wrong Tetris game. But yeah, special thanks to Chewy for being first today and for the raid. Good times. But before we raid, dude, we gotta do one final thing. Well, now it's time for So Long. But we'll sing just one more song. Thanks for doing your part, cause you're real smart, except for you and you, and that guy too. We can do anything that I wanna do. Bye everybody, thanks for watching. See ya. See you next time.